August 11th, 2014. A phone call. Robin is gone. The man who made the world laugh for 40 years had taken his own life. His wife found a note. 3 words. I am so tired. How could this happen? How could the funniest man alive choose to end his life? But Robin Williams had been fighting a war inside his mind, a war he kept hidden behind every smile, every joke. And by the time anyone realized his pain, it was too late. This is not the story of Robin Williams, the comedian. This is the story of the man who could not stop performing, even when it was killing him. Robin Williams was born in 1951 in Chicago. His family looked successful. His father was a Ford executive, wealthy, respected. But inside that house, young Robin felt invisible. His mother was elegant, distant, a former model who valued appearance over emotion. Robin, a chubby, awkward boy, did not fit her image. His father worked long hours, too tired to notice a lonely child. Robin spent his childhood alone, playing with toy soldiers, creating voices, imagining worlds where he mattered. He learned that silence meant invisibility, and invisibility felt like death. One day, young Robin stood outside his mother's bedroom. She was lying down, staring at nothing, her face blank. "Mom," he whispered. She did not respond, so Robin did what would become his survival mechanism for the rest of his life. He made a funny voice. He pretended to be a cartoon character, bouncing around, making exaggerated faces. And for just a moment, his mother smiled. That smile became Robin's drug. He learned that if he was funny enough, people would notice him. If he made them laugh, they would not leave. But what happens when the laughter stops? What happens when you have spent your entire life performing just to feel loved? Robin Williams spent 63 years trying to answer that question, and the answer destroyed him. As Robin grew older, performing became survival. At Juilliard, he was chaos, could not sit still, could not stop talking. Teachers did not know whether to admire him or expel him, but audiences loved him. Robin did not just perform, he exploded. His mind moved faster than anyone could follow. Watching Robin Williams was like watching someone run from something, and he was. Running from silence, from the terrifying possibility that if he stopped being funny, he would stop being loved. Fame came fast. Mork and Mindy made him famous overnight. Everyone wanted a piece of him. Interviewers wanted jokes. Audiences wanted improvisation. Strangers demanded laughter. And Robin gave everything, because saying no felt impossible. Behind the laughter, something was breaking. Robin began drinking heavily. Then cocaine? Not to party, but to keep up, to maintain the energy, to silence the voice whispering, "You are not enough." For years, Robin lived in a blur until John Belushi died of an overdose. Robin had been with him hours before. The death shook him so deeply, he stopped cold, quit cocaine, quit drinking, got sober. But sobriety did not bring peace. It brought clarity, and clarity showed Robin something he had been running from his entire life. He was desperately, crushingly lonely. Robin could walk into a room of thousands and make everyone laugh until they cried. But when the show ended and he returned to his hotel room, the silence was unbearable. His first 2 marriages failed, not because he did not love, but because he did not know how to stop performing long enough to be real. Even at home, even with people who loved him, Robin felt like he was on stage, always on, always funny, always giving, but never receiving, never resting, never allowed to just be sad or tired or quiet. Because the moment he stopped being funny, he feared, was the moment people would realize he was not special, that underneath all the voices and characters, there was just a lonely boy who wanted his mother to smile. But Robin kept going, because that is what performers do. They show up, they deliver, they make people feel better, even when they are falling apart inside. And Robin did more than that. He gave in ways the public never knew. Every few months, Robin Williams would disappear. His agent would not know where he went. His manager would not ask. Robin would drive to children's hospitals, St. Jude's, Ronald McDonald House, local pediatric wards. He would walk in unannounced, no cameras, no press, no publicity, and to spend hours with dying children. He would do voices, impressions, make them laugh when they had forgotten how, hold their hands when laughter turned to tears. One mother whose son was dying from leukemia wrote a letter after Robin's death. She said, "Robin sat with my boy for 2 hours. He never checked his phone, never looked at the clock. He made my son forget he was sick. 3 days later, my son passed away, but he died smiling because Robin Williams cared enough to show up." Robin never mentioned these visits, never used them for interviews or awards speeches, because for Robin, making someone laugh was not about fame. It was about filling a hole inside himself that nothing else could touch. But the hole kept growing, and no amount of laughter could fill it. In 2011, Robin married Susan Schneider. She was different, quieter, steadier. She saw past the performance. For a brief moment, Robin felt peace. But then something started going wrong. Robin began forgetting things, small things at first, keys, appointments, then bigger things, lines, names. He would wake terrified, not recognizing his bedroom. Hallucinations started, paranoia, anxiety so severe he could barely function. Doctors said depression, anxiety, Parkinson's. Nothing helped. The worst part was not the symptoms, but the fear. Robin's mind was the only thing he had ever trusted, and now it was disappearing. What Robin did not know, what nobody knew until after his death, was that he did not have Parkinson's or depression. He had Lewy body dementia, a brutal disease that attacks the brain, causing hallucinations, memory loss, paranoia, cognitive decline. It only gets worse. No cure, no treatment, just slow, terrifying descent into losing yourself. Robin's brain was being destroyed, and he could feel it happening. Doctors told Susan after his death that Robin's case was one of the worst they had seen. His brain was covered in Lewy bodies. He was medically disintegrating, and he knew the man who made people laugh was losing the one thing that made him feel alive, his mind. By the summer of 2014, Robin was in agony. Not physical pain, but something worse. The terror of losing yourself while still being conscious enough to know it is happening. He tried to keep working, tried to keep smiling, but it was getting harder. Susan would find him in the middle of the night, pacing, crying, whispering, "What is wrong with me? Why cannot I think anymore?" She held him, told him it would be okay, but they both knew it would not be. On August 10th, 2014, Robin Williams kissed his wife goodnight. "Good night, my love," he said. "Good night," she replied. He walked to his room, closed the door, and sat on the edge of his bed. For hours, he just sat there, thinking, remembering, regretting. At some point, Robin Williams made a decision that would break the hearts of millions. The next morning, Susan found him, gone. The man who had spent 63 years making the world brighter had decided he could not face one more day in the darkness. And when the world learned what happened, they wept. Not just because they lost a comedian, but because they realized too late. The funniest man alive had been the saddest all along. The tributes poured in from presidents and actors, from fans and strangers. Obama called him one of a kind. Spielberg said he was lightning a storm of genius. But the tributes that mattered most came from ordinary people. A nurse wrote, Robin visited our hospital 3 times, never told anyone, just showed up and made sick kids laugh. A veteran wrote, Robin performed for us in Iraq. No cameras, no press. Just a man reminding us we were human. Hundreds of stories emerged, thousands. Robin Williams had been secretly kind his entire life. While fame made others selfish, it made Robin more giving, because he believed that if he gave enough, maybe he would finally feel whole. But he never did. That is the tragedy. He spent his life trying to fill a void that no amount of love or laughter could touch. The void was not about what others gave him. It was about what he could not give himself. Permission to rest, permission to be sad, permission to stop performing. Robin believed his value came from making others happy. When he could no longer do that, when his mind failed, he felt worthless. Susan said Robin's greatest fear was not death, but losing his mind, becoming a burden, being remembered for confusion, not joy. So in a moment of clarity within the fog, Robin made a choice he believed was mercy, but it was not mercy. It was tragedy. After his death, the autopsy revealed the truth. Lewy body dementia. His brain was ravaged. Doctors said he had been living in a waking nightmare for months, possibly years. Hallucinations, paranoia, the inability to distinguish reality from illusion. And through all of it, Robin had tried to keep working, tried to keep smiling, tried to keep being Robin Williams, because he did not know how to be anything else. The diagnosis explained everything: the depression, the anxiety, the fear. Robin had not given up. His brain had been taken from him, and knowing that brought some comfort to those who loved him. But it also brought rage that this disease exists, that it can steal someone so brilliant, so kind, so necessary, that it can make a man who brought so much light into the world feel like he had to leave it. But Robin's death also sparked something important: conversations about mental health, about depression, about the masks people wear. Suddenly, the world understood that you can be successful, loved, admired, and still be suffering. That laughter does not mean happiness. That fame does not mean fulfillment. Robin Williams became a symbol, not just of comedy, but of hidden pain. And in his death, he gave one final gift. He made people ask the question he had spent his life avoiding. Are you okay? Really okay? Not the performance, not the smile, but you, the real you. And that question has saved lives, because Robin's story taught the world something essential: that checking on the people who make you laugh is just as important as laughing with them. In the years since, Robin's films have taken on new meaning. Dead Poets Society telling students to seize the day. Good Will Hunting saying it is not your fault. Aladdin singing about being trapped in a lamp. Robin Williams was trapped, not in a bottle, but in a mind that would not let him rest. Yet he used that pain to create joy. He transformed suffering into art. That is not weakness. That is heroism. Robin's children speak of him with love and honesty. He was complicated, he struggled, but he loved them fiercely. Even in darkness, he tried to be present. He was not perfect, but he was real. His son, Zach, started a foundation for addiction and mental health. His daughter Zelda advocates for awareness. His son Cody preserves his legacy. They turned their father's pain into purpose, made sure his death was not just an ending, but a beginning of conversations, of understanding, of breaking silence around suffering. Robin once said, I think the saddest people always try their hardest to make people happy because they know what it is like to feel worthless, and they do not want anybody else to feel like that. At the time, people thought it was clever, but it was not. It was a confession. Robin was telling the world who he was, and nobody hurt him because they were too busy laughing. That is the lesson. We must listen, not just to words, but to silence between them, not just to jokes, but to pain they cover. The people who make us laugh hardest are often hurting most. If you see yourself in Robin's story, know this: you are not alone. Your pain is real. You do not have to keep performing. You do not have to earn love by being funny, helpful, or perfect. You are enough, exactly as you are. Tired, scared, broken, you are still enough. And if you are gone tomorrow, the world will not be better. It will be emptier because there is only one you. Robin Williams did not know that, or his broken brain would not let him believe it. Either way, he is gone, and we are left with laughter, films, kindness, and the heartbreaking reminder that even the brightest lights can be extinguished. But his story does not have to be yours. You can ask for help. You can rest. You can stop performing, and you will still matter. Robin mattered, not because he was funny, but because he was human, flawed, fragile, fighting. That is what makes someone unforgettable. Not success, but humanity. Robin gave us his every day until he had nothing left. And now we honor that gift by living, by asking for help, by letting others see us even when we are not okay. That is how we keep Robin's legacy alive, not by remembering jokes, but by remembering the man and making sure his pain was not for nothing